Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and please share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Wow, what a day, guys! 14 degrees today. Frozen pipes, improperly, just busy, guys, busy. And you know what? It's a beautiful thing because I'm making money, but at the same time, it's a beautiful thing because it's teaching me to quickly diagnose things, to see them for what they are, and then be honest with people. I just left a house where the guy is a notorious slumlord. The place is a bloody mess. There's no insulation in the basement. He hires illegal plumbers and does most of the work himself. So he has butchered the heating system for the second floor. And then on top of that, I suspect a defective thermostat. We'll figure that out when we get the pipes unfrozen. But somebody left a basement window open, so you got plastic PEX heat pipe with an open basement window in 14-degree weather, and it's such a long run that the pump can't push the water fast enough on a good day. It froze up, and I get into the basement. There's a sewage leak, so there's just nasty water all over the floor. The place is freezing, uninsulated, windows open, and I'm like, I took my time, diagnosed it, and I let him know. I said, listen, I put the one heater I saw underneath where the window was, but like there's so many different problems here. There's nothing I could do, and I walked away. And like any other time, I'd be stressed out of my mind. I called the customer and said, when you get out of work tonight, go dig up as many electric heaters as you can and just put them along the baseboard everywhere you can and hope for the best. But it's all improperly done, and it's plastic pipe. There's nothing I can do to thaw it out. Like I've got enough work to do, and then I'm getting phone call after phone call, other people asking for advice on other heating systems, and I'm like, there's literally only so much I can do, but I'm not letting it bother me. Like it doesn't have to get the best of me. I'm doing the video quick here, and then I'm actually heading out to Framingham, one of my brother's house. He's having an issue with his combination unit, and that's my family, so I'm gonna put priority where priority needs to be and go help my brother out. Guys, other than that, I have a huge announcement. After I made yesterday's video, it didn't even dawn on me because I've had so much going on. It did not even dawn on me that today being December 15th, yesterday was December 14th. Yesterday was one full year off of heroin and fentanyl. December 13th of last year is the last time I used my drug of choice. Now, again, I don't count this my 1 year of sobriety. That will be January 7th, so long as I continue to do the right thing, because that was the day that I got out of rehab on the 6th, and I did take a hit of crack because I found it in my house, and again, I'm being honest with it. Any other time in my life, I'd be saying, I got 1 year. No, I don't, because I was medicated in rehab, and I slipped up with a hit of crack. Now, I haven't used my drug of choice. I do have 1 year free of heroin, which was my major addiction, and I'm incredibly proud of that, guys. But you know what? I should have done something more. I had other things on my mind. I let other things sway me, and I'm still having doing my life. And I had a great day yesterday, but it was after I published my video last night that it dawned on me, and I ended my day incredibly proud, reflecting, looking back on everything I've done this year, and I'm so incredibly proud that I've maintained, that I continue to maintain, and that I've actually followed through with the promises I made myself, starting my YouTube channel, getting active in my recovery, chasing recovery like I chase the drugs. Again, we're going to have a bigger celebration on January 7th when I actually get my 1 year chip and I have 1 year of full sobriety. But even just knowing that I'm officially 1 year off of heroin is an amazing thing, guys. And I look at the strides that I've made during that year, and it makes it a tough day like today very easy to stomach, because my worst day today is so much better than my best day before. I mean, it's shocking. And guys, I'm so incredibly proud to share that today. I really am. I mean that from my heart. Like literally, I'm ready to get choked up over that, and that's one of the big joys in recovery, guys, is the joy of sharing. And that's the title of today's reading. That's a much better segue, isn't it? Right? Guys, the joy of sharing. There is a spiritual principle of giving away what we have been given in recovery in order to keep it. By helping others to stay clean, we enjoy the benefit of the spiritual wealth that we have found. Time and again in our recovery, others have freely shared with us what was freely given to them. Perhaps we were the recipient of a 12-step call, which means somebody calling to check on you. Maybe somebody picked us up and brought us to our first meeting, or even shared where a good meeting was, which is where I found my home group. It could be that somebody bought us dinner when we were new. All of us have been given time, attention, and love by our fellow members. We may have asked someone, "What can I do to repay you?" And the most likely answer we received is to do the same for a new member when we are able. I love doing that today, guys. As we maintain our clean time and our recovery, we find ourselves wanting to do for others the things that somebody did for us, and happy that we can. If we heard the message in a hospital or institution, we can go join our local H&I subcommittee, or perhaps we can volunteer on the NA helpline, or we can give of our time, attention, and love to a newcomer we are trying to help. We've been given much in our recovery. One of the greatest gifts is the privilege of sharing with others what has been shared with us, with no expectation of reward. It is a joy to find we have something that can be of use to others, and that joy is multiplied when we share it. Today, we can do so freely and gratefully. And the affirmation is, just for today, I have been given much in my recovery, and I am deeply grateful for it. I will take joy in being able to share it with others as freely as it was given to me. And that's a fact, guys. This recovery program, these meetings that we go to, nobody's paid to be there. I'm not paid to chair, and nobody's paid to show up, and nobody's paid to be the treasurer, and nobody's paid to be the secretary. These are voluntary things, guys, because it's how we all keep sober together. I keep sober by listening to somebody else. Both the old timers that have more time than me, and the newcomers coming in reminding me of what I was going through out there. I stay sober by freely sharing. Like, the biggest thing for me is sharing my daily life experience here on this YouTube channel. Like, I had no idea why this channel, and I've said this so many times, guys. I knew this was a very important thing for me when I got the idea to do it in rehab. Now, I didn't know. I think in the back of my mind, the reality part of me knew it was not something that was going to go viral. But, you got that, newly found addict sense of, grandiosity, I guess. That, I'll do a video and people are going to take off and they're going to be playing my videos in rehabs all over the world, and I'm going to be famous and speaking on stage, and that was a pipe dream, and I knew immediately that it wasn't going to happen. But honestly, the fear of that terrified me. Like, I didn't know. And again, the whole point of me telling constantly about how I slipped up the night that I got home and smoked a rock of crack that I found when I was cleaning my apartment is because it set me on the path that I am on today. At the time, I thought it was the most devastating mistake. Like, I realized that I'd thrown away that month of sobriety, and again, it was only a month. And when I look back on it honestly now, I realize that no, I was getting medically treated, so I wasn't technically really clean, and I was in an institution, which is the only clean time I've ever put together in my life. I've never had any sobriety time on the street, so I was able, for once in my life, to be honest, to go find a meeting the next day, which is now again my home group, some of my best friends, the place that I go to be of service. And where I get my medicines. Like, literally my favorite hour of the week is my AA meeting on Friday. Found that the next day, and I got my 24-hour chip there. I freely shared with everybody at that meeting that I had slipped up the night before. I got home from rehab. I slipped. Here I am. I got my 24-hour, and I've got them right down the line. They're taped right to my wall, right in front of me here. And I get to look at that every day and remind myself, like, this time around, all my clean time has been living on my own, my personal choice to do the right thing, even though I'm not answering to anybody, even though nobody would know if I slipped up, because again, for once in my life, I understood that I would know, and that's all that matters. And that's the difference today, guys. I try to do the right thing because I know it's the right thing to do, not because somebody's watching, not because I think a reward is going to come in for it, for that particular move. But I know at the end of the day, all the rewards that I have in my life are going to come due to the fact that I continue to do the next right thing. And guys, as I've said, I'm just coming up on my year. I've got 1 year free of heroin, and that's the first time I can say that since the first time I took dose, was put it at that. Whether it was, the times I was using intravenously, or I got away from that 10 years ago and only sniffed and thought that made me better, and it didn't. It just, yeah, anyway, just, guys, the joy of sharing is something I'm incredibly proud of today, and that's the one aspect I didn't know. Like, I didn't know why this channel was going to be so important, but it's become important because it's allowed me to get to know who I am, to face myself on a daily basis, to look at my actions, to see how a great way to keep count of where I'm at today. Did I have a good day? Did I have a bad day? Because instead of just ignoring it, I stop and talk to you guys about it at the beginning and end of every video, and that keeps me paying attention. And then I see where I did well and where I failed, and where things could have gone better. And then when I go out and repeat tomorrow, I'm able to make the same good decisions, and oftentimes in other areas better decisions. Then I get to go to my AA meeting on Friday, and we have the luxury of having some halfway houses in town, so we get a lot of newcomers coming in, which is great because there's always fresh blood and fresh people come in the meeting as much as us our regular members, and I'm so honored to be a regular member of a meeting today. That's something I didn't think I'd ever say, and I'm so incredibly happy. But anyway, we get a lot of young guys coming in today, and there's people that look up to me, and when I speak, I always feel like I'm not making sense, and that I'm under pressure. And even doing a video every day, guys. I think I've done 340 some odd consecutive videos now, and I've gotten much more comfortable. If you look at my first video, I was pretty uncomfortable. But again, I'm proud that I had the balls to do that one because I knew it was important. God put it in front of me, so I answered and I did what I had to do. And I'm proud of that. Like, I love that video. I go back and watch that from time to time. Maybe I'll do that tonight on the way to Framingham. Anyway, when I do share, the feedback I get is amazing. And particularly, it's usually from the newcomers that identify with my story. And my story is pretty broad, has a pretty broad range. I was out there for a long time, and I've been through a lot. So there's always something that somebody can identify with. And they'll come up and tell me afterwards, hey, you speak so well. I can't believe you don't have, you have less than a year. You're an inspiration. I hope I can have half of what you have when I have your clean time. Guys, I'm honored for that today, and I let them know. So listen, don't compare yourself to me. You do the best you can with what you have. You make yourself proud for what you've done. Never mind what I've done. Yeah, I'm showing you it's possible because I've been through similar things to you, but you find your path and you can surpass me. Or, whatever, just make yourself proud. Don't ever compare yourself to me, and I don't compare myself to somebody else. But we can share and identify with the similarities in our story. But, just because you don't cross a particular threshold that I may have crossed, and I don't deal with a particular situation that you might have dealt with, doesn't mean that your program's less than or greater than mine. Is the only thing that matters is, are you doing better today than you did yesterday? And are you going to strive to do better tomorrow than you did today? And if so, then you're working a successful, beautiful, amazing recovery program. And you have something to share with somebody coming in behind you. It's the beauty of the halls of recovery, guys. There's new faces, new blood, new members showing up every day. This disease is taking us it's incredible, guys. 30 years ago when I first got into it, if you walked into an AA meeting, even then it was a broad range of people, but nothing like it is today, guys. This disease of addiction does not discriminate. There is no racism, there is no sexism, there is no religious indoctrination in recovery, or in addiction, I should say, because it doesn't care who you are, where you come from, what money you have, what resources you have, whether you have a beautiful wife or a handsome husband, or whether you have a good family, or whether you grew up in an orphanage or foster homes or whatever, or on the streets. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 CEO, if you're like me, a homeless homeless junkie for a while. It does not discriminate. It will take whatever you have and everything you have inside of you, and it wants your life in the end. It'll bring you to your knees. It'll make you feel less than, inadequate, and inferior, and an imposter, and it'll destroy anybody. So everybody that comes into recovery has something to share, because all of us, individually and as a group, have done something that so few can. There's so many people out there suffering, guys. Every one of us is a success story. And if you fall, that's okay. get back up. That's the important thing, guys. Never stop trying. There's an amazing member of my group, and I won't put anybody out there, but she calls herself a chronic relapser. But you know what? I have more respect for her for keep coming back and admitting and getting her chip again and working her way back up. And I keep telling her, listen, I'm so proud of you for doing what you did. I don't know if I'd have the strength or the courage of my conviction, and I'm fortunate that I haven't slipped up. But that doesn't mean I won't. That doesn't mean I'm immune from it. That's why I'm continuing to take my Sublocade, guys. I had told myself I'll do it for a year and that's going to be it. And now my year is up, and because I'm working the program to the best of my ability, I know as strong as I am and as good as I feel, like I'm not immune from the disease of addiction. I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to entertain relationships and the pitfalls and the joy and the hurt that can come with that. I know right off the bat, the last thing I want to do is stop taking my Sublocade and then leave myself open to having my heart going out of my chest. And if there's ever going to be a time that I'm going to want to go use, then that would probably be the time. And it's why I talk about it freely and openly here. Because when I hear myself, maybe I won't let it get to that point. Maybe for once in my life, I'll pay attention to these lessons and I'll put up boundaries and I won't let myself get to that point. Because one thing I've always been guilty of, guys, I don't get into relationships often, and I have no problem being single for 10 years in between one, but the problem is when I do, I jump off head first, and because I want this, I know I'm a very given person, I'm a very loving person, I'm a very honest person, and I see the best in everybody, and it's one of my beautiful traits. But it can also be a detriment to myself because I don't always see the warning signs for what they are ahead of me, and I might ignore them. And today I've got to be more careful of that because I have something to lose today. Like, I don't want to hand over the reins of this empire that I'm building, and I don't want to allow somebody to get me out of myself by putting all my focus on somebody else because my head's so far up in the clouds with new love. So I've got to rein myself in and maintain and take proper steps and make sure I know where I'm at, and I have a backup plan like my Sublocade. I have a recovery network like my home group, my YouTube community, and therefore I feel comfortable doing these things. And again, I don't go out looking. I wait for God to bring to me what is meant for me, and then we'll see what happens from there. Guys, this video is getting a little long. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's just say, guys, the joy of sharing. Find it. Like, if you go to a meeting when you feel you have nothing to share, you still do. But you're going to find somebody else willing to share something with you. Every so often we do fellowship afterwards, and I always reach my hand out and say, listen, if anybody wants to come, and particularly the guys in the halfway house may not be working, come to lunch. I'll buy you lunch. I'll buy anybody a meal. Come hang out with me in a meeting and let me know you want to get some pizza next door. If you want to go get a lunch, I'll buy you lunch every time, guys. I'm honored to be in a position where I can for a change. And I remember days when I go to meetings and people going to fellowship and I was there. I'm like, oh, I don't have money. I can't do that. And that was okay too. But you know what? I wish I'd had the guts back then to say, hey, I don't have money. I'd like to go. Somebody would have bought me a meal. I was too embarrassed. Let go of your pride, guys. Pride kills. God saves. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.